everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hi, my name is Vivian. I share food and style inspo and as of late, wedding content creation and some behind the scenes on what that looks like. But if you guys have been following me for a bit on my vlogs and bridal series, you guys will know that I am a 2023 elopement bride is what I'm calling myself. But this is the first event that we're having. This is our vows that we're going to privately read to each other. I'm calling it our elopement shoot because we technically eloped-ish, I guess, when we got married back in 2020. But now we're almost, maybe it's a vow renewal too, where we're reaffirming our vows to each other and like finally saying them in our own personal words. And there will be a photography team there to capture the moment for us, and then so we could have obviously like the pretty photos and video to show our kids and grandkids one day. But yeah, it's gonna be literally very private. It's gonna be Wes and I and then our photography team, and that is it. So if you guys are liking what you're seeing so far, then please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified every time I post a new video, especially the next video that I will be sharing, which is everything that I'm wearing to the elopement. So my dress, like I'm going to show you guys the dress, my shoes, the jewelry that I'm wearing. So yeah, it's going to be all the things, but I'm going to be sharing all the details right now for our elopement shoot. So again, just like the last like sit down video, please forgive me for using my phone, but I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys all of the details. So we are having our elopement shoot at dun, 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 I'll put like a little photo here to show you guys, but it's the Villa del Sol del Oro in Pasadena. So I think I shared with you guys in the previous sit down video where I talked all about my bachelorette. I talked about like the couple movies playing in the background while we're hanging out in the bungalow, drinking and having a good time. But the movies that I picked, which were The Princess Diaries and Legally Blonde, I picked those movies obviously because they're also like just a couple of my favorite movies of all time, but also the villa is in those two movies. So this villa is featured in a lot of movies, even in like Marvel movies and stuff. But if you're familiar with Legally Blonde and The Princess Diaries, Elle's sorority house in Legally Blonde, and then Mia's high school, like where they filmed the outdoor like locker area, it's just like a very well-known villa in like the movie world. But I obviously would not have known that if I didn't see that on their website. So that's a fun little name droppy thing that I like to say about the villa when I've been telling my friends, is that it's in those movies. So I'm just so excited that we are having our photos there because it's crazy. I'll show like a little bit of my Pinterest board right here, but my Pinterest board literally had like Italian villas on there for our venue because for the longest time I thought we were gonna do like a destination thing. I always wanted to have something really small, so that's why like the destination wedding idea was floating around. And I think I've always have liked the Italian aesthetic and that vibe. So obviously those Italian villa weddings like the Villa Balbiano, all of those famous weddings that I feel like all these girls are showing on TikTok, but that was on my Pinterest board for the longest time. And it's just crazy because the villa, well obviously it's not in Italy, I feel like for what I wanted to do, making it more accessible, and obviously the cost would be a lot less, I just figured how can I recreate the Italian vibe and make it feel like we're in Italy but never leaving California. So when I came across this venue, I seriously was like, I could cry. It was everything that I wanted and more. By the time you guys see this, I would have just had the shoot. So I'll check back in with you guys in the vlog and kind of update you guys on how much I actually love it after seeing it in person. But I have a feeling that I'm gonna love it, so I'm really excited. I just wanted it to be like that classic, timeless, elegant Italian villa vibe. And then for our photography team, I'll put some of their work here, but my photographer for that day is Hannah Roster Photography. She's based over in, I think, North Carolina, but she goes internationally, like everywhere. Like right now, I feel like she's in New Orleans or something. Before that, she was in Mexico. Before that, she was in Italy. Like she literally goes everywhere. Her style is very like vintage, timeless, a lot of like that grainy, just like that really vintage look, which I love. Like I want to look at our photos, I want it to feel like you're looking at like a movie or just like really old time vintage photos. Kind of like that feeling that you get when you look at your grandparents' photos. I feel like they're so timeless and beautiful, so I just want us to look like that. We're also doing like Super 8 video, if you guys are familiar with that. It's like the video footage where it looks like not choppy, but it's very grainy, and it's definitely like that 90s camcorder look is how I like to think of it, that vintage look. So in addition to Hannah doing our photography, I'm also hiring a wedding content creator. So even though I am doing it as like my own side business, I obviously wanted to hire someone to help me out because I could do everything myself, but actually Hannah suggested it to me that I should hire someone just so that I'm not worried about capturing all the content. So we're having Ashlyn Chung from BTS Weddings by Ash. She's gonna do our wedding content creation for the elopement shoot and then also for the dinner in October. But yeah, we're having her do all of the iPhone content for photos and videos, and then Hannah's gonna do all the professional photography and videography. We are making our own florals, which you guys saw me practice in like a vlog or two ago. I was practicing florals with my mom, so I just wanted to lock down what florals we're gonna have. So a lot of baby's breath is the theme, and those like little chamomile daisies are the flower that I want, because if you guys are familiar with that old TikTok or Instagram trend where it was like, what would I be if I was a blank? And you ask your partner like, what would I be if I was a season? What would I be if I was a fruit? What would I be if I was a drink? And Wes doesn't know like any flowers, but he said daisy for me, which I actually like love those little daisies, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. So I wanted to incorporate that into our florals. So in addition to all the florals and stuff, I'll have like some inspo photos of like what we're going for. We're going for a very like music driven theme and very much inspired by what my photographer already did. So I'll show you guys here. I showed you guys in like a little bit of these images when I was practicing florals with my mom. So if you saw that vlog, you'll be familiar with these images, but I wanted to like actually put them in the video so you guys can have a clearer vision of what we're doing. And then I got these like vintage sheet music where it's like older and like kind of weathered, and they're like yellow and it just looks like vintage, but it's double-sided, a bunch of different music sheets, but like the photo shows, we're just gonna like splay them out on the ground with like all the florals and stuff. So just a lot of like music theme. Kind of going along with that like music theme, we have this kalimba that I gifted him for our dating anniversary this year. It's just like a thumb or finger piano. So we're gonna have this. I also have a book that I'm gonna use as a prop for this like picnic setup. It's like deep in the cupboard right now, so I need to go get it. But this book is called Stiff. It's actually kind of like a morbid book because it's about cadavers. So I think I'm actually gonna like cover it maybe with like a pretty paper or something. I don't know, because the cover is literally like, I'll show you guys a photo of it here. It's literally of like a cadaver, like foot with a tag on it. But I alluded to telling you guys the story, I think in my first like episode of the bridal series. So I'll tell you guys the story of this book. So I actually had this book and got it because of Wesley, but like way before we started dating. So a little bit of a backtrack story. Wes and I met when we were kids, like when I was 11 and he was 14, but we had like a enemies to lovers trope situation, so we didn't like interact and stuff. And also we have a like 3-year age difference, so just like middle school, high school, you just like don't interact. But in high school we did, because we were both in high school at the same time. And at one point I saw that he was like reading this book called Stiff, and like obviously maybe not obviously, but I don't know if you can tell from my personality, but like I like true crime stuff and all that, but like I'm not necessarily like gravitated naturally to like horror, or like I basically just would never read this book on my own, okay? But I kind of had a little crush on him, but I got the book, and then the next week that I saw him, I was just like casually like having the book open and like reading it by myself. And then he was just like, oh, like you're reading this book? And I'm just like, yeah, like casually, whatever. I thought like, oh my gosh, if I could find this book again and like just have us like pretend to read it and just like have that be a cute little like curated photo shoot moment, I thought that would be so cute, just so we're not like running around or just doing just like couple shots the whole time, because like I do want some like traditional professional shots where we're like more posy, but for the most part I want everything to be like really natural. I want it to be like we're just spending a day there and then the photography team is capturing us. So I don't want it to be too curated and too posed, but for the most part, if we are gonna have props, I want them to have meaning. So that kind of goes into some of these like props. I'll have these linked down below because I got these off of Etsy, but these are our vow books. Aren't these gorgeous? These are these really old, like ripped edges, very vintage. But this is our something blue. You know, in a wedding you have like something old, something blue, something borrowed, something new. And this is our something blue. And it could be our something new as well. But it just says his vows and her vows, kind of like stamped into the cover. And then it has a really pretty bow at the end. And then it has a couple pages for you to write out your vows. So I'm having Wes and myself, we're writing everything in like notes in our phone, and then once we have the final version, we're gonna write it really nicely here, and then that way we can have like a tangible kind of keepsake for us, and we could always have this as memory. So those are our vows. For our ring boxes, I just got this ring box off of Amazon. They have a lot of different styles and shapes, but I wanted one specifically that had 3 slots for rings, so I just got the 1, 2, 3, 4 hexagonal one. And then here are all of our rings together. So this is Wes's wedding band on the bottom, my engagement ring in the middle, and then my wedding band on the top. This is just one I got from Amazon. I don't know if this is like the final one that I like, but I just wanted to get something quick for the shoot. But I feel like all together it looks really nice. This was a vision that I had for sure of like how all the rings would look together, and they look really nice together. I think that's it for everything. The next installment of the bridal series will talk all about my dresses. I'll like show you guys and wear all the dresses and stuff too, so that you guys can see what I'm wearing. I'm also working with Dareth Colburn Designs, which is what my studs are from that you guys are familiar with, but I am working with them, sharing a lot of their different bridal collections and how you can style them for obviously the big day, but also like my bachelorette weekend, like just so many different things, like as a bride or as a bridesmaid or wedding guest, or even in your everyday life too. Like I love wearing these for my daily earrings, so be on the lookout for that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys as always so much for sticking around till the end of this. If you guys watched the whole thing, I know these sit down videos are obviously a lot of talking, a lot of explanation and details, but I hope if you are recently engaged, planning a vow renewal, or even like a birthday or special event, and you need some ideas like for venues or for photography teams or what to do for florals or props or different things like that, I hope this was helpful, especially if you're in the Southern California area and if you're looking for that European Italian vibe. Then I highly recommend that you check out Villa del Sol d'Oro. I'll also be sharing the vlog in a couple days like I mentioned before, so be on the lookout for that. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm so excited that you guys are here. I'm really thankful for all the support that we're getting. I have DMs and messages from you guys saved on my phone because it just feels really nice having your guys' support and just seeing people excited for us. It makes me even more excited for our event. So just thank you so much for adding a lot of positivity to my life, which in turn obviously bleeds into like the rest of my family and friends' lives. Just thank you guys so much for making this an extra fun time for all of us. So without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.